Savage.
I was not the architect of President Obama's health care plan. I behaved badly, and I'll have to live with that. But my own inexcusable arrogance is not a flaw in the Affordable Care Act. The ACA is a milestone accomplishment for our nation that has already provided millions of Americans with health insurance.
The report released today examines the CIA's secret overseas detention of at least 119 individuals and the use of coercive interrogation techniques, in some cases amounting to torture. There are those who will seize upon the report and say, see what the Americans did, and they will try to use it to justify evil actions or incite more violence. We can't prevent that.
Ladies and gentlemen, why is Dianne Feinstein not being called up on sedition or treason charges? There is no justification whatsoever for releasing the CIA report at a time when ISIS is on the ascent. The only question is, who in this administration, on the Democrat side, does not work with the enemy? Who in the Hussein Obama administration is not covertly working for the enemy? I don't know of one. Here you have Joseph Biden boasting and saying that this is a badge of honor. Listen to clip 35. If you thought that Biden was a centrist Democrat, you better think again. Here is Joseph Biden again attacking our CIA at a time when terrorists are on the ascent. Listen.
I think it's a badge of honor. Every country has engaged in activities somewhere along the line that it has not been proud of. But think about it. Name me another country that's prepared to stand up and say, this was a mistake. We should not have done what we've done, and we will not do it again.
So we have domestically Obama and Holder attacking the police. Internationally, we have the Democrat, socialist, communist lobby attacking the CIA and the military. Make no mistake about it, the CIA and the military are intimately interconnected. All of the CIA's valuable work in the most dangerous areas on the planet is for one reason and one reason only. It is to subdue and suppress the scum of the earth. Those who would cut your throat, convert you to Islam, rape your daughter, and bury you alive. Have you no idea what world you live in? And yet we have Feinstein, a woman with a questionable background, a woman with a questionable relationship to a husband that does hundreds of millions of dollars in contracting work. Sometimes even the LA Times once asked questions many years ago about the contracts that were allegedly steered to the contracting firm. You haven't seen that in the last number of years, have you? It's not good enough that these people are ripping off America. It's not good enough they're becoming billionaires on America's back, but now they have to cut our jugular vein. Why is Feinstein releasing this CIA report now? Do you think that they're working with the CIA, with the enemy against this country now? Or is this a punishment to the CIA for not healing to the great King Obama? Is this because the CIA is the last nut that this monster has not cracked? He cracked the Republican Party. Did you know that the Republican spending bill, which they've kept secret, includes $948 million, that's almost $1 billion, to go to poor and unskilled Central American illegal aliens to help these illegal alien third world invaders establish themselves in the United States? This is from the Republican Party. What more proof do you need that there's only a one-party system in this country? What more proof do you need that we no longer have a two-party system? It's a Democrat party. It's a Republican party. It's a government of zero. We have no government. We have a ruling class, and then we have the idiots, us. The idiots who actually go to the polls. The idiots who pay the taxes. The idiots who listen to these traitors. Tell me how this ends. There are many questions. There are many questions out there, but it gets worse. Listen to this pompous liar in clips 5 and 6 now.
History will judge us by our commitment to a just society governed by law and the willingness to face an ugly truth.
You're an ugly
say
truth.
Never again.
You're an ugly truth.
There may never be the right time to release this report. The instability we see today will not be resolved in months or years.
Are you listening to this rubbish?
But this report is too important to shelve indefinitely.
Why did they release it now? There's only one reason. And the reason is they just lost at the polls. There's going to be a new Senate Intelligence Committee come 2015. This witch will be thrown off the committee. I hope to God she will be. So what they're doing is just what I told you they would do. I told you that going out the door, they will practice a slash and burn retreat. They will burn everything down on the way out of power. Do you understand what they're doing here? They're doing as much damage as they can to this nation, to our institutions, to our stability on the way out the door to make certain that the Republicans can never manage the country properly. How do you feel about Dianne Feinstein, herself a questionable individual, attacking the CIA? Listen to clip 7 now. How do you feel about this one? It
shows that the CIA's actions a decade ago are a stain on our value.
You're a stain on our values.
The release of this 500-page summary cannot remove that stain.
You're a stain.
But it can and does say to our people and the world that America is big enough to admit when it's wrong.
Can you believe this liberal platitude that this harridan is spouting? You know, I don't understand how any American listening to this show doesn't understand the danger we are in. Do you have any idea who these radical Muslims are? No, you don't. You sit in your little houses with peace signs on your curb. You think in global warming, talk about global warming when it doesn't exist. All the liberal claptrap, all the platitudes. And the boys who have the guts to fight these scum of the earth, these Hitlers of our time, these Nazis of our time, they're the ones who know who they are. They know what they do to people. And they're all around you in this country. They're everywhere in this country, including in the administration. How high up does it go? I have to ask what I asked at the beginning. Why did Dianne Feinstein insist on releasing the CIA report in the middle of December, the early December 2014, when she knows she's going to be pushed down or thrown out of the Senate Intelligence Committee in January? Why are they trying to damage the CIA now? Why? Why? What are they gaining by this? They're punishing the Republicans. They're punishing the American people. They're punishing our military. They are destroying our national security. There is no justification in my estimation. And Dianne Feinstein, if there was a legitimate government, would be investigated by the incoming Republican majority. One of the first orders of business would be to investigate her relationships from the beginning of her tenure, analyze what her net worth was when she entered politics, what her net worth is at this point, and ask the question, have there been any benefits, direct or indirect, from her sitting on the Senate Intelligence Committee? Any financial benefits, yes or no? I didn't say there were. I said this should be investigated immediately. The same has to be done with all of the other billionaire Democrats who have benefited from their power positions. I don't mind that they're scum. I don't mind that they're greedy. I don't mind that they're grubbers of the lowest order. I understand why people go into politics. 99% of them go into it because that's how they rob money legally. I get that. They get money steered to them, to their friends, family, and cronies. I get that. That's how the system works. But where's the firewall of protecting our national security? Where is that firewall? Is there no bottom to Dianne Feinstein's evil? You know, I remember this woman as a mayor of San Francisco. She was slimy then. She's been slimy ever since. But why is she doing this now? I remember when she ran the hearings on the assassination of an individual and his son, Sammy. Does anyone remember that case over 10 years ago? They picked this harridan to conduct those hearings. And she had set up questions for the murderers in the BATF and the FBI who had executed Mr. Weaver and his 14-year-old son, Sammy. And this harridan, Dianne Feinstein, who reminds me of an eerie witch out of The Manchurian Candidate, had the nerve to say to the officers, the vermin, who shot Randy Weaver and shot his 14-year-old son, and by the way, they were protected by a curtain so nobody would know who the black-hooded murderers were. She said to those FBI assassins and the FBI ATF agents, she said, so was the calico curtain waving in front of Sammy Weaver when you pulled the trigger, sir? In other words, she did a cover-up of the execution of Randy Weaver and Sammy Weaver. Why now is she attacking the CIA? Does anyone understand what she is doing? Why is she doing this? George, on WJR, you have the first call on the Savage Nation. Why is Feinstein attacking the CIA right now? Why now?
Well, first of all, Michael, honored and privileged to speak to you again. Your voice is always a calming effort on my part, doing what I can out of Detroit. I would call it the People's Republic of Detroit. So what Dianne is doing, of course, is for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. These rats that are trying to scurry off the ship are doing everything they can. You're spot on to take down the ship of state, to see what's left out here, separate from our lone voices that are crying out foul.
Well, why would she lead a scorched earth policy against the U.S. military and our national security as she's about to lose her power position? What does she think she's going to achieve by doing this?
They're hoping to make a power play to perhaps, I hate to be conspiratorial, but maybe if there's more action on the streets, suspend the Constitution, and we've got our emperor for life, Barack Obama, who can then step in and just kind of ascend to the front.
Look, the thing is, the CIA is the last holdout against Obama. The FBI has been gelded a long time ago. They answer only to Eric Holder. Eric Holder answers only to the troika that runs the administration. He's part of the troika. So who's left? The military was deballed a long time ago from the top ranks. He started firing generals around the time of Benghazi. The generals who were ready to send aid, he fired. He then deballed the entire nuclear command structure. All of the old-line generals have been purged like Stalin did, but instead of shooting them, he smeared them with guys like that filth Gruber. They made up stories about the generals and fired them. So the only element of our national security apparatus that I can see as an outsider that is capable of exposing the Democrat, socialist, anarchist administration is the CIA. She's attacking them any way she can. She's hoping that our agents get killed overseas. You know they're going to whack our agents. Why then are all our embassies on alert? Why are agents being called back from the field? She wants them killed, doesn't she?
But you have to remember, though, too, before your greatest efforts and your greatest strength, you feign weakness. So what's happening here is it's a global setup. God bless America, so to speak, because we will prevail. And then again, you have to always remember, we always have a Lee Oswald or two sitting in the closet.
I don't quite know what you're talking about with Oswald. I would scratch that from the record. I have no idea what he meant. But, folks, this is the most alarming story of the year. For the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee to take the side of the enemy overtly, not even covertly, to nakedly take the side of the enemy and empower them, and to endanger all of our best and bravest field agents. Remember what they have to face out there. All the double agents have to be pulled back if they're not being captured right now and tortured from what she did. Why is she doing it? I'll be right back.